you need to have enough competence to understand how to conduct a conversation, because every deal is going to bring, new surprises, new elements to it.
Welcome to the Real Estate Is Show. I have a really cool guest today, Tessabella Jelten. And if you're wondering, it's Tessabella is her whole first name, because I get that wrong all the time. Tessabella, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. I'm excited.
What percentage of people call you just Tessa?
I would say about 85% of people call me just Tessa. Tessabella when something's getting serious. And then my really old school friends call me Bella.
Oh, all right. I was going to say, if people know you well, it's Tessabella. But apparently Bella is like, if you call you just Bella, you really know you.
That's real close, yeah.
I love that. So you and I met randomly. I think I reached out to you, ironically, probably trying to hire you at one point, because I saw your social media and you have a really good social media account. You've got a huge marketing background. I've just always been impressed with you. And then maybe you reached back out to me for a different reason about a year ago. We've just been friends ever since and masterminding and doing lots of fun things together. And ironically, your boyfriend, Ramon, how do you pronounce his last name?
Casaus.
I knew I was going to get it wrong, so I didn't try.
You got Ramon right, which a lot of people go Raymond, all kinds of different stuff.
Yeah, no, he's been one of our clients. We love him. And anyways, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm excited to be here.
Good. All right. Well, let's start off. I want to get to know you a little bit. There's part of your background that I don't recall. It's how you got into real estate. And if I remember right, you started with real estate investing. You didn't start out as a realtor, correct?
Correct. Yeah. I started out on the real estate investment side. That really just caught my eye. Full transparency, I liked the idea of making an ugly house into a pretty house. That was about as basic as it got at the start. But then I became obsessed with truly all of the different avenues you could go with real estate, especially on the investment side.
Walk me through kind of your favorite flip you've ever done. Give me a story here.
Honestly, one that I love to reference was one of my first. It was actually my first. I got the keys to that property when I personally had negative 36 cents in my bank account. And I funded this property and got the keys to it. And it was all such a blur because it was that first deal. And you're kind of running on adrenaline and hope at that point. But in that process, I obviously learned so much. What I really took out of it too was I plugged into the real estate investor kind of community in Arizona, specifically in like the Phoenix area. And I was blown away at how willing people were to kind of jump in and help me, which was really cool as someone who's trying to figure the whole process out. And so that deal turned out to be one I thought was going to be like a pretty nice cosmetic flip. Turned out the property, you could have probably flicked it with your finger and it would have fallen over. That's how termite infested it was. So
really?
It was down to almost a new build by the time we were actually scrapping pieces and building it back up, and had just about every issue you can run into, including someone steal every appliance and every piece of wire in the property right before we listed. Just
the copper, that was a big thing.
Oh,
AC units and copper. So what year was that?
That was 2014.
Yeah, that was still, so I started flipping in 2009 and I don't know when it stopped, but we dealt with that a lot. It's the copper, the AC units. We were getting cages and putting them around them and hiring people to sleep there at night.
Yeah.
It's a pretty crazy deal. What part of town was your first flip?
It was in Central Phoenix, right in Coronado Historic District.
And did you do well on it?
I came out of it with a profit, which to me was doing great. Yeah. Because I had a lot of people, that I'd connected with at that point too, some of which who were very underwater on a deal at the time. So I was really grateful to be able to still piece it together, turn a great profit, turn that into my next deal. But it definitely did not come with any shortage of stress and gray hairs at 18.
How did you, being 18, being so young, having negative 36 cents in your bank account, how did you raise the money for that deal? What did that look like?
It was quite literally, and it's so funny, I've always loved the phrase, everyone has something that makes them an instant extrovert. Because I was always a very shy, I'm a pretty reserved person. If
I
you
don't
give
believe
me,
that for a second.
Are you, given the opportunity, I would like to be in my house with my dog and my boyfriend and not really talking to anyone else. And yet real estate is the thing for me that was always what made me sort of an instant extrovert. So as soon as I started to immerse myself in that world a bit, I couldn't shut up about it. I would talk about it to anyone and everyone. And that was really the gift that got me into it, because I understood clearly, hey, I'm going to need somebody to partner with me on this or fund these first flips. How am I going to do that? Well, a lot of it came down to how really persuasive can I be in convincing that I have enough of the knowledge to do it. I've got the grit grit to go out and make it happen. And I can piece these things together if someone will kind of take that chance on me. And so I truly put together a pitch deck as if the, spinning slides would make a difference in convincing someone to invest.
Did you have some really cool transitions?
Oh, yeah. It like faded out of the side. I had all of it. And I started just reaching out to anyone and everyone I could. I was the manager at a coffee shop at the time. And so everyone who came through in the morning, probably just wanting their coffee and to be left alone, I was like, do you know anyone? I would just talk to them, talk their ears off. And somebody connected me with someone who told me, hey, he has money. I said, okay, I don't know what that means, but he was willing to get on a Skype call with me at the time. Got on Skype, pitched. I sat there anxiously waiting, and he said he was willing to invest in that first property. And
wow.
I remember not really knowing what to do next, but I was like, great, I'll get back with you on Monday and we'll figure it out.
You went to a Facebook group. Anybody have any paperwork?
I'm on YouTube, trying to figure it out.
I love that about you. So, the main audience of this show are top real estate agents. So kind of translate the advice that you learned from that. And I think there's two big takeaways probably, and maybe some others of one, having the confidence as a real estate agent and to do their first flip if they've never done a flip, and why they should. I want to hear from you on that. And then two, having the confidence to talk to everybody about what you do. Mm-hmm. And what you advice you'd have for real estate agents on that. And then anything else that you could see on how that would apply to real estate agents.
Yeah, I think that one thing that I understand with a lot of agents, because I've since coached a lot of agents, talked to a lot of agents. And I think one thing that a lot of people struggle with is they want to have it all figured out before they have the confidence to go talk to people, especially a new agent. They're thinking, I've got to really know this like the back of my hand before I can feel comfortable telling people or pitching people or, cold calling someone. And of course, you need to have enough competence to understand how to conduct a conversation. But at the same time, that couldn't be further from the truth, because every deal is going to bring, new surprises, new elements to it. As long as you understand how to, effectively prioritize things and how to really go through and navigate a situation and always find the right solution, that's ultimately what you need. And so I, of course, applied that to real estate sales, but also to real estate investing. And so when it comes down to doing that first flip, I think really the most important piece is just understanding the long-term vision. For me, I knew I wanted to do something greater within real estate. It started a little shallow of I just want to make a pretty house. And then it turned into I can really see a lot of opportunities to be a professional problem solver here, because the properties that I was getting a lot of times were people in a really distressed situation who did need to get out of that, and they didn't have a lot of other opportunities. And then I was able to, work and collaborate with other investors, other creators, contractors, turn it into really kind of a piece of art, whether it looked beautiful or not. It was something that had been pulled up from the ashes, and then sell that to a family who needed it. So to me, I did really enjoy all of the positives. It felt like a win for all parties at that point.
Yeah, a few things I just learned from you, which I really appreciate, is, and I love having people on the show because I learned so much, is how important massive action is. But more importantly, one thing I heard from you is, I consider myself an ambivert, whatever that is. It's like an introverted extrovert. So I'm extroverted at times, but mostly an introvert. And I think when I'm passionate about something, it's easier to be extroverted about it.
Yep.
And you learn to be passionate about real estate, and you wanted to talk to everyone about it. And, for those top agents out there, it's recommitting to finding that passion and love of what you do, whether it's real estate investing or just traditional real estate. And if you recommit to that passion, you will naturally want to start talking about it more.
100%. And finding it, honestly, because I do think that for a lot of people, it's no secret you might not love going out and doing 500 showings for one client that then decides they're going to rent instead. There's a lot of pieces of real estate sales that isn't maybe the most exciting part that you're not super passionate about. Sure. But at the end of the day, there's got to be something within the process that you do love and that you do really have that passion for. And so focusing in on that makes all of the other stuff worth it throughout the process.
So you did your first deal. How many years did you flip or invest in rentals before you got a real estate license?
I got my license about 1.5 years into the process. And then, of course, there was a period of time doing both, where the traditional side of real estate sales just kind of came organically because certain deals didn't work out as a flip, or you want to list your own properties and all that stuff. It made cents to get licensed.
Well, if I remember right, you were the official realtor of the Phoenix Suns. Is that correct?
I sure was. There was a period of time where I was the official real estate partner of the Phoenix Suns, which was wild.
How did you get that deal? Like, what does that look like?
So truthfully, it came back down to social media. I was documenting every single piece of what I was doing online because I had this dream of being on HGTV. And I said, well, at the time, I'm just going to make my social media my own personal reality TV show. It's my own corner of the internet, so I'll document it. And there was a gal who was a sales executive for the Suns who followed me, I think on LinkedIn, actually, saw some of my stuff there, checked out what I was doing on Instagram, and then invited me in for kind of like a meeting. And I didn't know what it was for. I get to the stadium. They've got like my name up on the big screens. It was
they were wooing you.
Oh yeah. It was big time. And so of course I'm feeling like the coolest person on planet Earth. Turns out they want a big check from you to be a part of it as well,
okay.
Of course. But I also saw the value in that because I was thinking this is a big, platform. Maybe I can sell one of the players a house, except all of them were like 18 at the time too. So that's when the team was very young and not very good.
How old were you when you?
I think I was 20 at this time.
Wow.
Yeah.
There aren't a lot of 20-year-olds that are the official realtor of the Phoenix Suns. You're probably in the Hall of Fame as the youngest real estate agent for the Phoenix Suns.
I don't think they've ever taken a real estate partner since then. So maybe it wasn't the best partnership for all parties, but it was an amazing experience. And just to see, how marketing works on that scale versus what I was used to previously.
Sounds like there's some really cool takeaways there. And look, another thing I'm learning from you is just the confidence it takes to be successful sometimes, and the confidence it takes to take massive action, even on social media. And let's transition to that a little bit. As a real estate agent, what advice do you have of, what's the best platform? Where do you really see the most engagement and the most amount of people that turn into revenue?
Yeah.
Right. And sometimes things turn into revenue, like partnerships with the Phoenix Suns, that isn't necessarily a client, right?
Yeah.
Like there's other ways of doing it. But
yeah, that's a great point. I love how you even asked that, because obviously all the rage right now is TikTok and Reels and doing this short form video, YouTube shorts, all that kind of stuff. Those are, of course, very powerful for getting a lot of eyes and traction very quickly. But I don't find that as many people have ease of success of converting those eyes into anything. And so I think it's important to use those platforms and to get a lot of that reach, especially in a time that you can. But then when it comes to actually turning those viewers or those followers into revenue, it tends to be a platform where you're able to actually connect with them on a bit of a deeper level. I've always found tried and true Facebook to be one of the best platforms for that. It is really conducive to like long form content. People enjoy going deeper. Of course, they go on there to share their political views and their next pregnancies and every little happening in their life. That's sort of what Facebook is conditioned to have. Yeah. And so it tends to be not only a place where you can get great insight if you see people, announcing marriages, graduations, these kind of things. It helps out as an agent to be able to see that information. But it's also a great place to tell stories and build trust and ultimately kind of convert people into that next step of the process.
That's interesting. I really thought you were going to say Instagram or TikTok, and you want Facebook.
Yeah. I also love Instagram. That was a huge one for me, but the platform has since changed from when I was converting a lot of leads from Instagram. I think it's changed a little bit, and it's still definitely there, but there's a lot more eyes pulling you in different directions.
And Facebook allows you to add words to things, and in words people can read it on their own time.
Yep.
And if they don't want to have audio or read captions on a video or something, right?
Yeah. Yep.
No, that's really intriguing. So when you've coached real estate agents, where do you think most real estate agents struggle the most?
Okay, so the real estate coaching program I used to run, I structured it off of 4 S's. It was sales, social media, self-mastery, and structure. And those 4 really, I think, are the key pieces to any success in real estate. But I think the biggest piece that agents suffer from is not understanding or not being able to properly allocate time to the things that actually move the needle forward. We're so distracted by so many other things, and there's lots of shiny objects when it comes to real estate. And few people are able to commit long enough to the things that actually move them closer to their next deal.
It's interesting you saying that. I own a business, as you know, called Rocket Lister, and we really promote having agents show up and being on camera on video. and video does really well with social media, but having an agent on camera does better, right? Talking, because they get to see you and your personality and hear from you than just a property. And I can't tell you how many agents try it out for one or two, but they don't commit to the process.
100%. I see that happen all the time. I think that I actually, when I first kind of dove into video on social media, this was probably 2016, maybe, I did a 30-day Facebook Live challenge. And I went live every single day for 30 days. And that kick-started, and that ended up turning into, over the course of the next year or two, 7 transactions that could be related back directly to that live challenge. And the first one that I got was someone who actually told me that he was very impressed at the level of consistency of showing up every single day at the time that I said I would and doing exactly what I committed to.
That doesn't seem like a problem you've ever had, is showing up, Tessabella.
It wasn't, but not everyone knows that until they've had the opportunity to see it. And it helped with my ability to get on camera a lot too. Some of those early videos, they are rough to watch back. I don't know where I'm looking. I'm kind of talking over myself. At one point I tried to put text on the video and it comes across my face. It's horrible, but I leave them there for the ability to reference back to that and see what it used to be and what it's evolved to.
I'm sure you've run into this also. I'm more comfortable with Facebook than Instagram. I'm trying to get better at Instagram. And it's sometimes, for some people, it's choosing a platform and not trying to solve all platforms, right? And getting really good and committing. God, I'm learning so much from you. This can go on for hours. Back to the point. I will be at an event, at a party, and I will have random people come up to me and be like, how was Portugal? And I'm like, I've never met you before. Who are you? And they'll ask me very intimate questions about something I posted on Facebook. People really get to know you through these platforms. Have you had those kind of experiences?
100%. And I really pride myself on always being the content creator, but I have a full-time VA who his job 9 to 5 every single day is to engage on particularly Facebook and LinkedIn. And so he's going through different Facebook groups, but mostly my timeline, my feed, and engaging very genuinely with people. Before he started doing that, he was tasked with watching every video, podcast, everything I've ever done, reading all my previous posts, really studying how I would engage with people. And so he actually takes the time to go every single day through hundreds of posts and is engaging with people, the happy birthdays, the comments, the likes, all that kind of stuff. And as a result of that, I get so many people that do come up to me or reach out to me that are like, oh, hey, thanks so much. You always remember my birthday every year. You're the first person to tell me happy birthday. Or, who just bring up these things that I do have to, for a minute, sit there and think I don't even know what this person's talking about.
What does it roughly cost to have somebody like that?
I pay him, I think, $800 a month.
Okay. So if you're watching this, for $800 a month, you could have somebody in your voice comment and interact with potential clients.
Yeah.
That is huge.
And in all honesty, he does many other things. Yeah. So that's one of the tasks, of course, with Facebook and these platforms. You can't just spam people with a bunch of stuff. So he can only do that so frequently throughout the day. Yeah. And so there's lots of other things. And so, it's extremely worth the cost of that, I think.
I love that. I am implementing that tomorrow.
Yeah. It's a game changer and helps me remember things too, because he can shoot me a message and say, hey, don't forget it's so-and-so's birthday. This happened. This client, it's their 2-year, he really manages kind of all of that stuff. And it's super helpful.
September 4th is my birthday.
Okay. I probably posted on your Facebook and I don't even know.
Hey, I expect him to send me a gift. I love that. All right. So you're on the Real Estate Is show. Have you thought about what your word is?
I have. All
right. What do you got?
Real estate is a vehicle. And the meaning of that to me is obviously it's a financial vehicle. I think it's an incredible tool that everyone should use to build long-term wealth. But I also think it's a vehicle for building relationships, for opening up new doors. I always used to make the joke that real estate's like a communications degree and call it you get it and then you can do so much with it. There's so many different avenues that could go. Yeah. You don't have to just be a real estate agent. You could be a number of different things. And so to me, real estate's always been a vehicle.
And I love that. And you no longer have your license, but you're still involved in real estate. You're recruiting, you're doing marketing, you're involved in it, and
Yep.
what your experience in real estate has transitioned your life into this other part of your career.
100%. Yeah, it's been a massive tool in my business, and being able to understand all of the different angles of it, from an investor, from a person purchasing real estate to the person selling it for others. I think you really see all angles.
You know, what I like about that is there's so many analogies with the vehicle, right? Like how to tune it up to go faster, how to, create safety nets and, in your life. And that's a really good word. I like that. That's a unique one. Nobody has used that one yet.
All right. Hopefully no one takes that one from me, because I felt like that's
pretty good. I'm going to do like is a and then draw a little car on there, for a vehicle.
Yep.
That's really good. So what haven't I asked you that I should have asked you today?
Oh, that is a great question. I would think, to me, it's like what an agent should be focusing on more often to get past that obstacle. Because you asked me, right, what is one of the biggest things that real estate agents run into, or kind of what ceases that? Yeah. And I'm glad you picked up on, to me, it's always about like taking that action regardless of knowing what the next step is. But I find that a lot of people can identify that they're stuck there without knowing what to do to get past it. And so my thought on how to actually move past that kind of stuck feeling, or that analysis paralysis that a lot of people get stuck in, is I love working off of evidence, because everything is about like momentum, and the proof of past success tends to work for a lot of people. And so I've always been a quick action taker, but not everybody gets to have that kind of naturally in them. And so training it into yourself, like winning every little piece of your day. And I have a wins list in my notes app where I write down things. And so when I feel nervous to take the step to pursue something, I go back and actually look at this physical evidence of success of what I've done previously to move past those feelings of like self-doubt or whatever might come up.
So I would say the theme of this podcast is having the confidence to take massive action. And that is something specifically you do to rebuild your own confidence.
Oh yeah.
And to give yourself that step to kind of jump off knowing there's a cord connected and you're going to bungee, right? It's like the jumping off a bungee or a cliff, right?
Yeah. Because when I've figured it out before, I might not know how to figure this thing out, but I figured things out before. I've always found a way to make it work. That gives you that even false sense of confidence with what you're about to attack next.
So I'm going to ask a different question. Related, but the opposite. Walk me through some of your biggest fears and or failures.
Gosh.
What are you afraid of?
I mean, I will be the first to admit I definitely have a lot of self-doubts. So even hearing somebody, say that I have this confidence in taking massive action, I'm like, gosh, sometimes I sit here thinking like, what am I doing? So I think that probably a fear would just be holding myself back due to those beliefs being louder at certain times. That's definitely something that comes up, is just having to take like conscious effort to quiet the doubts that come up, because everybody faces that at some point. And I think that even we feel like, oh, we shouldn't, or, oh, I've done other things. I've been successful in other areas. Why am I feeling this doubt or this fear? And so that probably is the biggest fear that comes up for me, is letting that get too loud without catching it.
I love that. So for those people that want to connect with you and or Charlie, your VA,
yes.
How should they contact you?
Honestly, the best place to connect with me is usually on Facebook or Instagram. I'm on those platforms very frequently. And if I don't see it, Charlie will, and he'll make sure that it gets to me. So that's always the best place to connect with me. And I love being able to see what other people are doing and, snoop on your life, admittedly. So find me there so I can check out what you have going on.
Well, thanks for being on the show today.
Thank you. Appreciate it.